Paj-anime. Hi, Kyle.
Paj-anime. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, let's do it. We got lists to do right away. Kyle's grinding here, so we're on episode 39. Can you believe it? Episode 39. We're actually getting close to done this game. We're talking about this. For us, recording time, we're probably going to be starting the next Paj-anime feature, we think next month, in terms of recording time. So for right now, it's May. So we're thinking in June we'll be starting based on the pace we're making, which I will say, regardless of the grinding, you are making good pace. We're making good time here.
Oh yeah.
I thought that. Keep in mind too, I thought this game was way longer than it is.
Even we're like 30 hours
in the battles. In terms of the overall hour count, it's certainly not as long as like the 60 or 70 hours that some of these JRPGs.
It can be, like if you want to do a lot of that in-game stuff. But
I mean, we are still going to end up picking up some more summons, you said, so.
Yeah, we'll run back and do that stuff.
Okay.
For sure. But there's a point where it makes it a lot easier, because we don't have a fast travel system, right? So it's like, oh, this is...
Yep. So we have lists to do. At the end of the last episode, I mentioned to Kyle that I did a list on the Giant Bomb forums. It was a thread asking what is the favorite game from each console you've owned. So it has to be a game you've owned and a console you've owned. So for me, I went through the list here, and so obviously if you don't own the console, you can't name it, you won't list anything of it.
Yeah.
So for me, of the consoles I own, this is what I listed. On PC, the favorite game I've owned on PC is StarCraft Brood War. On NES, the favorite game I've owned is Super Mario 3. On SNES, the favorite game I've owned is Super Mario RPG.
Ooh.
On the original Game Boy, the favorite game I owned was Pokemon Yellow. On PlayStation, the original, the favorite game I owned was Final Fantasy VIII. On N64, the favorite game I owned was Legend of Zelda or Ocarina of Time. On PlayStation 2, the favorite game I owned was Silent Hill 2. On Xbox, the favorite game I owned was Knights of the Old Republic. On GameCube, it was Resident Evil 4. That's an obvious one for me. And on Nintendo DS, I did own that. My favorite game was actually Final Fantasy 4. That's the first time I played through Final Fantasy. I hadn't played it through any of the older ones, and based on everything I saw and read, that was the one that I had a suspicion it'd be the most for me, aesthetically and stuff, based on everything that was going on. I wasn't as always into the more kiddie medieval stuff of the first few Final Fantasies, and I felt like obviously 4 still had some elements, but 4 just, I don't know, it hit a chord with me. I really liked it.
4's really good.
Xbox 360, my favorite game that I owned was Mass Effect 2, obviously.
Good game.
And on PS3, the favorite game I owned was Red Dead Redemption. On Wii, I put none, even though I owned a Wii. I said I didn't think it was a good console. But WarioWare Smooth Moves I did own on Wii, and I think that's a good game. So that'll probably be it. On PlayStation Vita, it is Spelunky, and it is Spelunky without a fucking... I mean, that's a home run. That's an instant for me. On Wii U, it was Super Mario Maker. That's not even a debate as far as I'm concerned. And on the current generation of consoles, which I only own a PlayStation 4. Can you guess what it is, Kyle? What do you think my game of this console generation is? By that I mean PS4 specifically, but it is. I'll give you one hint. It's not a PS4 exclusive.
Destiny 2.
Incorrect.
Just kidding.
What?
Obviously.
What is it? What is your legitimate? You got one legitimate guess.
Shit. I have no idea.
My favorite game that I currently own on this console is Batman Arkham Knight.
Okay.
Which I believe is one of the most underrated games of this console generation and the best Batman game in the franchise. And other than Red Dead Redemption, is probably my favorite open world game to date. Although Assassin's Creed Origins really jumped up to my top. That might be 3.
That's pretty good.
That's a pretty good game. Arkham Knight's so good. It's so underrated. Well, you have to take time to get used to the Batmobile. Yeah, that's nice. Patient gamer. It doesn't control exactly perfectly. It still controls okay, though. It's still tolerable, and then once you get good at it, it's fine. You don't even notice it anymore. Like some games, you know what I mean? They're a little loose. It's like whatever. It's like that's not the judge of whether it's a good mechanic or not. The judge is if there's no learning curve at all. If you can't ever get better at it, then it sucks because then it's always going to be frustrating. But if it has a little bit of a learning curve, but you can get better at it with a little bit of time, and that's what I felt like. By about hour 2, I'd stopped noticing that it was hard to control because I was perfectly easy to control by that point, right? I just had to get used to it.
Yeah,
the way it controlled. What about for you? So, of those, did you own every single one of those consoles I listed?
No, definitely not.
So you've owned PC. We'll start with that. PC.
PC? I mean, gotta go with League of Legends, right? Like, that's been...
Yeah, that would be yours. Like, I had to go with Brew War. Like, that for me
of
is...
course.
I probably wouldn't be playing video games to this day if it wasn't for Brew War.
No, I understand.
Did you own a NES?
Nope. I'm sorry. We did when I was older. And I owned one game for it. So my favorite NES game is RBI Baseball.
Oh God. Okay. Your dad liked that, did he?
We played that together. That was actually a very good game.
Yes, I've never played it, but I've heard good things.
Yeah.
My NES was more Super Mario 3, obviously Duck Hunt, original Mario.
Yeah.
I didn't play a lot of NES games, unfortunately. I did play some one old Castlevania, and I died a bunch of times. I was like, fuck this. And I tried to play The Legend of Zelda 2, which is a fucking crazy hard game, and
it is
super convoluted. And then I was like, well, that's good to know you, NES. You own a SNES?
Yep, for a very brief time when I was a kid. So Mario World. While we did also own Link to the Past, I didn't get far enough in it before
gonna use the overrated Mario, but that's okay.
That's your opinion, sir.
Mario World's a really good game, but it's cherished as one of the best games ever made. And I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to make a sequel to Mario 3 and just take a lot of those good ideas and then misexecute some of them, you can say that's better somehow. I don't know. Anyway,
some salt there.
Game Boy. Did you own a Game Boy?
I did. Pokemon Red.
Well, Red for you. Yellow was my go-to. I played more Blue, but the moment I got Yellow, I didn't play Blue ever again, and I thought Yellow was a better put-together version. Granted, it's easy to make that when Yellow was made after. You know, they made some improvements. Did you own a PlayStation? A PS1?
No, but I did own a few PlayStation 1 games that I played on PS2 because they still have backwards compatibility. So I still have.
Okay, what PS1 games did you own?
Legend of Dragoon, which is a fantastic
That's a good game. Yeah, I played that at a friend's house. I never owned it, but I like that game.
It's a good fucking game.
Obviously, you owned an N64, and I'm going to assume that you're going to say Ocarina of Time.
That is correct.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that is the game. Like,
yeah, no, Ryan. Quest 64, obviously.
Everyone can say Super Mario. A lot of people default to Super Mario for pivotalness, but Ocarina of Time was just as pivotal, and it plays a million times better. And it's still
also Ocarina of Time has aged well, and 64 has aged like shit.
Ocarina of Time is ageless. I'm 100% believe that it's an ageless game. I'm not saying it's a perfectly ageless game. Graphically, the polygons don't age great.
No, but that remake,
but they're not. Oh, true. But even
fantastic.
the original's graphics aren't hard to look at. That's the thing, right? Just because it's not as pretty doesn't mean it doesn't look like it still doesn't work, right?
No, it's just like, but it's very clear. Like once they made the remake, it's like this was what they were trying to do at the time.
Yeah, that's what they were going for.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you own a PS2? Yes, you said you did.
Yes, I did. So I would have put this one really up there. I think my favorite game for PS2 might be Sly 2, Band of Thieves.
Okay, yeah. See, I figured you'd either go Jak and Daxter or Sly.
I was, like Jak 2 and 3 were both very good as well, but Sly 2, pinnacle of that
I feel
series.
like that era of games was just, I played games on the PS2, but those action platformers never ended up. I never played any Ratchet and Clank. I never played any Jak and Daxter. I never played any Sly.
Sly had like that whole like thief, like recon, fucking like execution.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, like
that's
the team.
That's the guys who are. Isn't Sly? Who's Sly? Sucker Punch.
Sucker
Or
Punch.
was it Infamous?
The Sucker Punch.
Okay, so what's Sucker Punch? Oh, they are the Infamous guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But just like, especially 2, like 3, like 1 was kind of like a little bit shit, and I played it later. Like, you didn't have a health bar. Like, they did that thing like, okay, you can get this horseshoe that'll block one hit for you, but like, things were a little bit convoluted, and it kind of made you.
Oh yeah, they're doing that new game that looks really cool. Remember?
Which one?
Oh man, right. So they did Sly 2, Sly 3. They did Infamous 1 and 2, Infamous Festival of Blood, Infamous Second Son. They did all of Infamous. They're the Infamous team. I remember because I played Infamous. I remember the movement. People saying the movement in Infamous, the way he jumped and landed on ropes and grinded around and stuff. Electricity, like that's very sly. Like that's kind of a similar style of moves. Remember we saw it last year at E3. There was that trailer, Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh fuck yeah, that's right.
That's Sucker Punch. I feel like they're gonna do like what I feel like this Ghost of Tsushima. A lot of this is a PS4 exclusive, by the way. A lot of people are speculating that it could have the effect that Horizon Until Dawn had for that studio. You know how the studio Guerrilla, how they were known for like a shooter.
Did you say Horizon
franchise.
Until Dawn?
Sorry, Horizon Dawn. What is it? Is it just Horizon Dawn?
Zero Dawn.
Zero Dawn, right? Sorry.
Until Dawn is a different game.
Guerrilla, who developed that game, they developed shooters before that, right? They developed Killzone. And then they're just like, hey, also here's this random game that isn't like anything we developed before. I kind of feel like Ghost of Tsushima has that vibe for Sucker Punch. Like, it looks way more Dark Souls-y almost. Like, hey, what if Japanese samurai Dark Soul future cool shit? All those words put together like that sells me, so.
Yeah. It does sound rad ass.
All right, moving on from that. That was PS2. By the way, you were probably shocked at mine for PS2 of Silent Hill 2, but I actually think that is one of the best horror games ever made.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Xbox. Did I cover Xbox for myself? I don't think I did.
You did not own an original Xbox.
I did own an original Xbox and I missed it, but I missed what I wrote down, so I'll say that here. I forgot to say this, but mine is obviously Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh yeah.
I got an original Xbox for Christmas with Munch's Abe's Odyssey, and then for a long time no games came out for it. And I was never a big Halo guy. I first played Halo at Shane's house. He had an Xbox as well, but I was playing some of the RPGs. Shane was more of a Jade Empire guy, which is the other BioWare RPG.
Yeah.
He was also a Morrowind guy. That's the first time I saw Morrowind. Was at his house. But I loved KOTOR, like, to death. KOTOR was fucking... Oh. KOTOR. I played Mortal Kombat too. On the Xbox when it came out. GameCube? You own a GameCube?
I did not. Alex has... Oh, no, sorry. We own one now. Alex has one. So that counts.
Does you have a favorite game that she owns?
Yeah, Ryan. It's Wind Waker.
Resident Evil 4 exists, and it's Wind Waker.
Sorry, we have 3 game. You know what? No, I'm gonna go look at my library right now because I can see it from here.
Oh god, we're still grinding, so don't worry. It's okay, people. We're grinding through this.
Because there's 3 Harry Potter games, 2 Harvest Moon games.
Oh man, none of those Harry Potter games are good, are they? I don't remember. Are they just cash-ins? Are they made by Activision?
Yeah. Most of these, the only 2 games that I have actually played are Wind Waker and Sunshine. So which one do you think was the better game, Ryan?
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I mean, Wind Waker's fine. I never beat it because despite the fact that I owned a GameCube, I ended up giving it to my friend a lot of the time, and yeah, he ended up playing a lot of stuff on there. And I watched him play Wind Waker. Yeah. I didn't really want to play Wind Waker. I started some of it when he went. I was like, "You're gonna play this? I'm like, I'll just hang out with you while you play it. Like, I want to see the story, but I wasn't one of those like the aesthetics fucking ruined. I was just like, this isn't like everything about it was just like looks like a really good game, but I'm just like, I don't know. It just wasn't rubbing me. You know what I mean? It was just like this wasn't the spot, if you will. Like this isn't exactly what I'm going for. Whereas I totally understand people who don't think Twilight Princess is that great, or
that's Alex's favorite Zelda game. Fun fact.
Twilight Princess? Yeah, see, that's one of my favorite. Like, that's the second best Zelda game as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay. Most people aren't really that big into it, so I was surprised.
I came to it when it first came out. I understood why people weren't into it, and I was like, oh, fuck Twilight Princess. And then when I replayed it later on GameCube, I was like, oh my fucking god, this game is amazing.
Yeah, because the Wii thing was terrible.
Like the Wind Waker version was just the Wind Waker to me was just way too different from Ocarina of Time. Wind Waker was like if they were like, hey, what if we just made an entirely new Zelda game? And I was like, oh, that's cool. But I wanted to see the concepts of Ocarina of Time extended, you know what I mean? Like I was like, Ocarina of Time is an amazing first game, and I was like, I want to see what they do with that formula, but like push to the edge, right? Like now we got to mix it up. Now we got to do different things. Twilight Princess had a gear that you rode as an item. Like, for fuck's sakes, as a mission item. Like, you literally, it was, and I'm not talking small, this is a giant gear, and of course Link always pulls whatever out of his fucking knapsack. It went into the side of stairs, like, there's essentially replaced giant staircases, and they just put this, like, huge fucking slot in the side of the wall, and you just rode the gear down, and then it was like Donkey Kong barrels, where you would have to, like, jump from slot to slot.
Oh, that sounds rad.
Like, this is fucking rad as shit. This is a rad item. Like, there's just a lot of thought put into, hey, if we're gonna use this formula, we need more stuff going on. That was the first Zelda game that had like sword upgrades. You could like they were all optional. You could run around the world and do these like wolf shrine things where they would teach you different finishing moves and sword moves. Like you didn't need them to beat bosses, but they gave you a little more variety to take less hits and be a little more flexible in combat. Like I just think it's a great game. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
Did you own a DS?
No, I did not.
360?
Yeah, obviously. So Mass Effect 2 is a very strong one. I'm gonna give that one to Oblivion, though.
Okay. Yeah, see, I would have picked Red Dead for 360, but I owned Red Dead on PS3, and I owned Mass Effect on on Xbox. So it was like, okay, well, I can technically Mass Effect's over Oblivion for me. No, so you didn't have a PS3. Did you have a Wii?
We have one now.
Yeah,
I'm going to abstain from the Wii.
I mean, grandmas have Wiis.
Wii
so
Sports,
that
Ryan.
doesn't count.
Wii Sports is my favorite Wii game.
Yeah. Splunk, or sorry, Vita. You never owned a Vita.
Spelunky is not a console, Ryan.
Have you owned a Spelunky? Yeah. The Spelunky console is just a steady supply of new Spelunky games all the time.
What the fuck?
You did? Did you own a Wii U? I don't think you did.
Wii U?
Yeah. The Mario Maker machine.
Oh,
the
no, I'm
console
sorry.
Before the Switch.
No,
you
we
own a
didn't.
Switch, so we can cover that one. But we'll cover that one after the PS4 since you got the Switch after. PS4 is the next one, so...
Oh, fuck me.
What's your favorite game that's come out on this console thus far? You really say Overwatch in a world where you really loved fucking Final... Or sorry... Man, what? You're telling me your game is Overwatch?
I'm having a moment here. What?
Over, I don't know, how about fucking Metal Gear 5, Yakuza,
Metal Gear 5 is good.
fucking Persona, like you've been raving about a lot of these, Horizon. Like, what is your game? Your game is over. Like, come on.
No, you're right. I was having a moment.
Overwatch for PS4.
I was having a moment.
And I like Overwatch the most, the best of us. And maybe I don't, apparently. Maybe you do.
Yeah, Ryan. Get on my level.
Fuck, I can't tell you your thoughts, but Jesus, wow.
No, you're right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Overwatch is a fantastic team-based shooter, but like game of generation.
Yeah, not Metal Gear. No. Well,
game of console.
We're also during the generation.
Yeah, but we're kind of in the Sony announced that they're not thinking about a new console for the PS5 probably won't release for 3 years. They said, so we're in this is the final years of the prime, if you will. The console will still exist after the new one comes out, obviously, but for a little bit, for probably a few years. But like we're in the games that are going to come out in the next 2 years, in my opinion, will have a probably contender status for best of the generation.
Yeah,
that's what happened last time too. Look at some of the games we're listing, like Red Dead and Mass Effect. Those came out like 2008. Red Dead was 2010, I think. Like new consoles came when 2011, 12. Like right, it's As you get to the later part of the generation, everyone realize everyone's got enough experience working with this hardware, especially as the hardware gets, as the console cycle gets a little bit longer. Anyway, I kind of figured you would have picked Yakuza or Persona, but but you really did. You really did like Metal Gear 5, so.
I like Metal, but no, it's Yakuza or Persona. Probably Persona.
Did you hear that they are remastering the rest of the Yakuza games for PS4?
Hell yeah.
It's fantastic news.
It's absolutely
now,
fantastic.
even if it doesn't get covered in some way or form for me to watch, then I can just, play at them.
Buy 'em.
All right, and last but not least, your last console since you picked Persona. Your Persona is your favorite game thus far that's come out for PS4 that you own.
Yeah.
I should say. I'm trying to think of your list of other games you played that you really have liked. I feel like those are some of the more notable ones. Anyway, the Switch. I'm assuming you're going to go Breath of the Wild, unless you preferred Odyssey.
Oh yeah, no, Breath of the Wild.
Okay, that's okay. That seems fair.
You're
there we go. There was the
goddamn
list
right.
game while we grinded. Where are we at? How was the grinding going? I wasn't barely looking.
We've made it like 5 feet.
Woo!
Lulu learned death. Lulu does not give a fuck, Ryan. Alright. We're almost there. I just want to get out of this fucking mountain. Once we get out of this fucking mountain is like when things kind of get a little bit... Yeah. Oh no, this is the right way. Isn't it? Yeah, this is.
I feel like Xanarkin's the Mordor or whatever in Lord of the Rings. It's just been this fucking destination. I feel like we've been traveling too far. Like,
The entire
even
game?
when we were doing the rest of the pilgrimage, when we were stopping to talk, more often than not, the topic of conversation ended up veering.
Well, it was always like we
It's
needed to go to those places so we could get to Zanarkand. Like,
I know, right? But it was one of the things that bugged me is you very rarely saw any of the main characters, with the exception of when we were in Albed and they were dealing with the pseudo-racial connection.
Yeah.
Albed home, they never called it, they just called it home. The pseudo-racial problems or whatever that Waka had. Most of the time, the conversation isn't about the place they are. It's not like Steve, like, tell me what's this? What's going on here? What is this place?
Lulu usually gave like a quick meme about them. She was always like, "This
I know,
is
but
Guado
Steve's
Salam."
never been here. I feel like he's just not curious enough. He's got all the bad parts of Sonic and none of the good parts.
Oh man! So Steve is not way past cool.
Because as one-liney and like obvious stating as Sonic is, at least he's that I'm a little boy curious, so that whenever you encounter anything new, it gets explained. So you're getting some world storytelling, right? Because he's just like he's the surrogate for the audience at that point, right? Tell me what's going on here. Steve doesn't really do a lot of that, which maybe they would have thought that to be annoying, I guess. But I'm just sitting here like, man.
Yeah, well, usually
I don't know.
in place
we
of
just
Steve
kind of
asking,
came and went through a lot of those locations. That's all I'm saying.
In place of Steve asking, Lulu usually just tells him. So,
Yeah,
and he just goes,
I'm just saying he wasn't asking a lot.
No, you're right.
Was kind of my frustration.
Like, we still get that
Like
as
I
the
said,
audience.
I wanted to know more about this world, and having played as much as we have, knowing the game's more concerned with teaching me more about Yuna, and that's.
You don't give a fuck about Yuna.
It's not that I don't give a fuck; is that they're not presenting what her story is well enough.
Yeah. Oh, first fucking try. Also, when am I gonna get my next fucking upgrade for Steve? Because, goddamn. Yes! Energy Rain!
When are you gonna get your next upgrade? Ask and you shall receive. Just like that, baby.
It's a good fucking... Wait till I'm gonna show it to you on dry land.
You know what that means? It's all over, baby.
It's all over, baby. We're playing poker, Phil.
Oh, God.
These guys can get on their tandem bike and fuck right off.
That new David Cage game came out today.
Detroit Becoming Human? I hope that game's good.
Or it comes out tomorrow. It's got some reviews that are okay, but obviously some people are... It's a David Cage game. Have you played David Cage game before?
I haven't, but we've had
There's going to be some bad story.
Yeah, well, there's also a little bit of controversy with that whole, like, suing the media thing.
Yeah, also a lot of people think, or sorry, I shouldn't say a lot of people think, David Cage has presented evidence that he is a little bit misogynist.
Yeah.
Or some people have
He's made
speculated
statements
that, I should
that
say.
people were like, stop talking, David, and he's like, no, I got this. And they're like, you have the opposite of got this. Don't worry, I've got this. David, no.
Speaking of that, 8 women allege harassment and misconduct by Morgan Freeman.
Oh, Morgan, what are you doing?
It just says misconduct and harassment. It could just be verbal abuse. Not that that's tolerated or anything like that. I'm just saying
No, it's
that's
just
not,
better than... Yeah. I got
that probably won't ruin you. You know, that'll be... better apologize and start changing your code of conduct.
Yeah.
If you haven't already started changing your code of conduct, which I imagine a lot of people have.
Potato
already,
masher.
Right? Like a lot of this stuff is about people revelations from the past, which isn't necessarily that those revelations aren't good and helpful to bring out and it's important. But like, if some of these people have already changed some of their behaviors, then you know, it's important that the behaviors they change are done for not just to avoid punishment, but
but like
they recognize that they're wrong.
Yeah. I think that I want to say that a lot of them that's the case, like because realistically, a lot of the things are like, why is this a problem? This doesn't exist in my world, so I don't think it is really a problem. Is feelings that I would have had even as like recently as like 4 or 5 years ago, before I kind of became a little more educated. Because realistically, like these are still not problems in my world. The closest that I run into is, and it doesn't even happen that often because of the company we keep, is Alex gets a little bit of gatekeeping about being a gamer whenever we go into like an EB Games. Not every time, but like occasionally. It's like fucking, and then usually I'll just have to like shut whatever dick down. We ran into this when somebody was trying to get like, she was talking like we were talking about something about like League when we were buying League cards, and somebody was like, oh, but you're not a real blah 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 blah, and they were like trying to be big, like look at how big and swinging my dick is. And then I shut them down pretty quickly because they were like in silver, and this is when I was in plat, so it's like, oh, you're fucking trash tier 2, dick. So back the fuck off. Also, we have to go put people's heads in the right hole, Ryan.
Oh,
This is a puzzle.
It's a puzzle for the faith.
I might actually have put Steve in the and Riku in the opposite ones, because those look like they're the same size to me. Yeah, I did.
Hey, Dark Souls Remastered came out. It's good.
That's good.
Or, sorry, people seem to like it. Whether it's objectively good or not is irrelevant. That's up to you.
Yes. There we go. And now the walkway will be open for some reason.
And the weird mushroom... Oh.
Just, you know what?
I mean, we need the experience, but...
No, I'm
Fuck.
I'm not doing the fucking water fight.
You're done. The water fights are grinding on you?
I'm not doing this one. We're almost out of the water, and I'm pretty sure we don't have to go back into it.
You're telling me that you've hit your drowning point?
Just let the bodies hit the floor, Ryan.
Oh god. Well, I mean, you were floating in the water not that long ago. It's probably haunting you. Hey, you want to fight some fish? Fish attack! Kyle's just like, it's getting a little fishy in here.
Oh, fucking no.
I'm just gonna keep going until these water battles stop. That's the rule. The bad puns will never stop until the water is gone. You know me, I hate the ocean. Crazy, look at, there's crazy things that live in the ocean. You see them? They're right here in front of our faces. You know, the sad thing is nowadays, if you watch any of those Planet Earth things, some of these things we see in these games aren't actually that far from what the fuck is living in the water. And nature's gotten crazy. I don't know if you've known that. Crazier than it used to be, apparently. There's a lot of weird new animals that are getting created and stuff somehow. I'm assuming we're the cause for some of it. You know, putting things in the water and destroying natural environment. Like, not even from like always like, oh, we're doing it negatively, like, oh, we're destroying the environment. Mostly that some of the things we do have environmental consequences, if you will, which could what's it called? Change or, you know, impact the ecological life and things.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why it would create new types of creatures. How does that? Is that? I guess I don't.
They have to evolve because of the changes to their environment.
I guess. Wait, so what you're telling me? Oh no. So what you're telling me is that all these other creatures that we're seeing in the ocean that look all crazy are actually creatures from other creatures, and that eventually, because they're always evolving, that eventually they're just going to be us? That's what you're saying,
literally
right?
what happened, Ryan. That's how we became.
Yeah, but it took millions of years.
Yeah, like, that's the same.
Yeah, but if they're evolving this fast, like I'm talking, like, well, obviously if you're not talking ocean life, but there's like been in the last, like, obviously maybe the internet and technology and stuff like that's helpful for our ability to discover this stuff. Maybe it's existed for longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be my hypothesis.
But there is a lot. If there is a lot of stuff that there's a lot of recent animal discoveries that are like, oh, we've never known that this was a breed of this, or we've never known that this existed. And
yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably more like we learned things rather than they didn't exist.
We learned things and now are able to detect them.
Yeah, exactly. Like those things.
Or we learned that maybe they're the type of animal that, like, I guess it's possible that some animals are cyclical, right? Like maybe they only breed every 10 years, so you don't see them for X years. Like shit like that is possible too, right?
Yep.
Nature's fucked.
Well, that's
speaking of fucked nature. Waka just totally killed that fish with a ball, underwater.
Nature is fucked.
That's variable steel.
Fuck is variable steel.
You couldn't get a good sword. You had to get a variable steel sword. Fuck variable.
Oh my god, Steve has 9,000 swords.
You got Avenger. I know. What's the best name here? A-Steel, Baruch Sword, Brotherhood, Flame Tongue.
Brotherhood.
Not variable steel. Hunter Sword, Twilight Steel, Baruch Hunter, Baruch Avenger, Baruch Fencing.
Sabers.
I might say probably Flame Tongue, but in terms of names, or Avenger.
Yeah.
Twilight Sword and Baruch Sword and fucking...
It's Baroque. It's the period of time. It's in like the 16 or 1700s.
Oh, so they don't know how to spell. Got it.
No, what do you mean they don't know how to spell? You don't know how to spell.
B-R-O-K-E. Broke.
Baroque.
So they're like, so they're just slanging it up. We Baroque, son. Like, no.
I'm gonna stab you.
That's not them. Got no cheddar. They're just Jesse Pinkman naming. that's
yeah.
So that's how they know our culture.
Yeah, bitch.
Next you're gonna fight the science, bitch. I read something to watch something where Jesse Pinkman, the actor Aaron Paul, was just it's like, people stop running up to me and saying bitch. Seriously, stop it. It's just like, it just made me laugh. Like, yeah, that's probably shitty. That's the bit. Because like that's your notable line, and people just run up to you. Hey! I'm sure the people run up to Walter Jr. like breakfast.
Oh, that would be so much worse. Yeah. He's like, guys, stop it.
They just went up to him, and gave him a box of Shreddies. Here you go. You know what to do with this. Oh,
Dad. Yeah.
We're still grinding. We're out of the water, but we're still in the caves.
Yeah.
The water is still in sight.
We're making a lot of progress, though.
We don't want to see more of the water game. We need to get out of here. I know you're into just showing us it over and over again, like the other guy, but...
Okay,
I like our little
Ryan?
wrist-mounted weapons, by the way. They look cool.
Oh, yeah, they're rad as shit. Energy Rain, Ryan. Are you ready for this?
The Energy Rain. Animate up.
Charging up. Jump kick
Oh,
off.
jumps off him? Oh, yeah. That's a cloud move.
It looks rad as fuck if you have it by the time that you fight Seymour, because you're at a cliff, right? You jump off a cliff, kick Seymour in the face, and then do all that shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Well, you never know. You might get a chance to fight him again.
I mean, no, probably not at the side of a cliff, though, Ryan. Don't be ridiculous.
Well, I mean, we all know that the cliffside battle is the best battle.
I mean, yes.
Impudent mortal. Ugh.
Your soul is mine.
Yeah, I'm Shang Tsung.
Bitch.
The actor who played Shang Tsung is in Lost in Space.
I don't.
Not as Shang Tsung.
I don't. Oh, really? Weird. I don't know anything about that except that there. I saw a post that somebody hates a woman on that more than most people hate Joffrey.
Parker Posey? Yeah. I feel like that right now the reviews of that, or sorry, the reception to that.
Oh, I'm assuming the character. Like, I'm sure her acting.
Yeah,
is
there's
fantastic.
people. There's people who really hate the character, and there's people who really like the character. So I don't know. I'm neutral. She's not a great character in my opinion. I just don't like the conceit of why she's created. Like in the traditional Lost in Space TV show, Dr. Smith is your, you know, like the villain of Scooby-Doo, like your villain of the week. That's not really a villain. It's like a corrupt guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And instead in this, Parker Posey's character, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Lost in Space, but it's been out a while now by the time this comes out. Parker Posey's character is a castaway who joins the ship, but the ship's essentially like a colony ship, and she doesn't have the right credentials. And when there is a crisis due to things happening on the ship, basically an attack, she decides to kill Dr. Smith and steal his identity.
Okay.
So then when shit goes to the fan and they crash on a planet and become lost in space, she just is presumed as Dr. Smith because they don't have the appropriate security and means to determine that she isn't Dr. Smith.
Like they can just look at her?
How? Nobody knows what she looks like.
Oh.
When you're going onto a colony ship, it's a colony ship. So the best way, so a colony ship is when a bunch of people from Earth quickly fall out, if you will. So, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
okay.
I got you.
Have you ever played Fallout?
Yes, right. I played Fallout.
Did you play Fallout 4?
A little bit of 4.
So you played the beginning.
Yes.
Dude comes to your door and you sign up to be in the chamber. Dude comes to your door, you pay money, and you sign up to get access to leave the dying planet on a ship with hundreds of other people. You don't know any of them, right? The only people that know them are the security, and because shit hits the fan and not the security, just some of the colony survivors land on a planet when shit hits the fan.
Sorry, I had assumed that they had already been on the ship before she did that. That was where the disconnect.
But they were all just getting on the ship to go to their, like, each person's, like, you pay for your own private space.
Yeah,
it's
I got it now.
It's called a Jupiter. So, like, when you're boarding, it's kind of like a mall. You're just all boarding onto the colony ship, putting in your credentials, which is a badge and stuff. And she steals her sisters to get onto the colony ship, by the way. That's how she gets onto the colony ship to begin with. Sister played by Selma Blair.
Okay.
And, the Robinsons are already there. And they're not, the Robinsons are the main family that it's about. And Dr. Smith has nothing to do with the Robinsons. He's just an aside, and when there's panic, he gets lost, so she says she's going to help him and then doesn't, and then takes it back.
Okay, she sounds like she's probably fine. Like not
But like
morally,
she's kind of a
obviously. She
neutral
sounds like a
character,
monster,
like, in
but-
terms of villain or not villain. Like she's not always that villainous. It's like her whole angle's the Earth is fucked and doomed, right? And because she was a criminal
I had
or
to
had
get
a,
off of here.
a dark past, no one would let her go, right? Like her sister, someone was like rubbing it in her face that she couldn't go, but she was like, you know, I've always never let you have any of my rich stuff. So now that I'm going on this colony ship, you can have my house and my car, right? That's basically what her angle was. Like, hey, enjoy eventually when this world sucks, but here you can until it does.
And she was like, "Fuck that! I'm taking back Broadway."
Well, no, she actually tied her up. She drugged her and tied her up, and then was like, "I'm actually not taking your house and your car. I'm becoming you. Thanks for that." It's like, well, that's kind of dark.
Fair.
But then the rest of the show's mostly about the Robinsons. She's only involved to like try to get safe and protect her identity, and you know, not be thrown in jail if they go back to the colony. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's a show.
Yeah.
Most of the show is honestly like Gravity, where the Robinsons are doing things in dangerous environments and the cinematography's good, and it's like, hey, you gotta survive, and then shit goes bad. Shit always goes bad. The decision making isn't great, but I kind of bought that the decision making was okay because it was like, these are humans doing this for the first time. They are going to another planet for the first time. They did simulations of this, but they could never really truly prepare for, mentally, right? Prepare for what could happen. Like, they might have been told, hey, this can happen, and you have the tools to solve it. But when you're, like, in a situation mentally, one of the best early scenes of that is, like, the whole family's kind of adventurous, and there's, like, this whole plot line where the son, the youngest son, Will Robinson, if you will.
Danger Will Robinson? Is that what that's from?
Yeah. Yes, that's what that's from. The original of that. The robot in
Yeah,
this also says
yeah.
that. The robot's Will's friend, essentially.
Oh, that's sweet.
But there's like a whole plot line where Will is like, it's not really sweet because the robot doesn't really communicate. He literally just says Danger Will Robinson, and otherwise looks like he's from Predator. He looks like devastatingly dangerous.
That sounds kind of
So
rad.
he looks weird too. Anyway, the plot line, like, Will's not ready. He shouldn't have come onto the colony ship. He should have stayed back. He didn't have the proper training. Did he have the proper training? Right. So then, like, when he hesitates to go grab something that's underwater at some point, right? One of the older daughters does it, and then because this planet's crazy, the temperature drops almost to frozen dramatically, really fast. So she, even though she's in a spacesuit, so she's not instantly dead, she just completely gets frozen and encased in the ice. Right?
Oh,
So it's like, hey, you might have mentally prepared for something like this, but you are literally, now you are looking at your oxygen supply for however many hours. You have that until you die, unless they get you out of here. It's like, oh, that's kind of scary. And
Yeah.
they kind of lean into that and go, hey, there's a mental trauma to this whole space thing that is going to be apparent for people who've never done it before. And
Yeah.
since the whole angle is that most of humanity hasn't done a lot of it before, that's kind of where it's at. Anyway,
Yeah. On that note, I think that's a pretty good place to call this one, Ryan.
we're lost in Final Fantasy at this point.
No, well, we ended up doing a lot of backtracking
We're not
that's
lost,
like
but
necessary.
we were grinding,
We've
so we got
opened
lost
the
in the
path. We've opened the path to get out.
The
next
narrative
time-
of the show got lost in the grind.
Yeah. Next time we will get out. Thank you for joining me, though, Ryan.
But if we don't get out, Kyle, rest assured
We'll get
that
lost
we
in
can
Gagaza.
only be dreaming. Sweet dreams are made of those, if you will.
Who am I to disagree?